2, and 1. So the number one question I get most often is, what are the 3 ways that I generate the most business? I'm not going to make you wait to hear all 3 of them. I'm going to give it to you out of the gate, and then I'm going to break it down with live examples. So the answer to that question, number 1 is referrals and sphere of influence. People that know me, who know people that know me or want to know me. And I get phone calls all the time saying, hey, this is my friend so-and-so. They need to use you because that person has experienced my service and wants to save their friend from a 3-star experience. The other way that I get business is content creation. Without a doubt, one of the biggest ways that we made our name in real estate globally is by putting out content consistently. I was a scattergun in the beginning of my career, way more focused now. So I'm going to do a screen share in a little bit and show you a live example of how I'm doing that right now in the commercial real estate world. And then the last way is just picking up my phone. Like, it's not uber complicated, but that's the actual answer. The amount of times I get business driving around, my phone rings, I don't avoid the phone call, I pick it up and convert an actual client is massive. And I'm actually going to break down how I do that to make it a little bit more tangible for you. So before I get into all of that, why don't I give you a little bit of background on where we started and where we are today? So I actually started in the hospitality industry. So I was a transplant from Montreal, was looking for that next place in my career and what I wanted to do. I went to school for digital marketing and I thought I was going to be like a video game designer or something like that. You can tell by this frenetic energy that I definitely can't sit in an office for 9 hours coding every single day. And I initially just got a job in hospitality for fun and to do something and make money. I always worked really hard. I actually started off at a bouncer at a little restaurant called Jim Bob Ray's that was a college bar in London, Ontario. And if the name gives you any indication of what that place could be, yes, it's exactly kind of what it sounded like, right? University bar. I was a bouncer, wasn't very big at the time. I had to learn to talk in order to not get into conflict. But what was really cool was that job gave me the ability to meet 1,500 people a night because we were always cycling through people in the restaurant, learn about different personality types and how I could service those people. And that's actually where my customer service journey began. I had lots of jobs before that, but that was the first one that really allowed me to understand people at a belly to belly level. And then that translated into a marketing role because I worked my way up through the entire company. I was a bouncer, I was a bar back, I was a supervisor for the bar back, I was a DJ, I was a bartender, then I was a manager. And then I realized that we had all these marketing budgets for all our companies and they weren't really being utilized. I went to school for marketing communications, went to the owner of the company. I'm like, hey, you don't have a marketing coordinator. I could be that guy. So I kind of created a job, started working with the managers at all the different restaurants and deploying new marketing plans in an age where social was just starting to happen. Now, what was really cool about that was the guy I learned from espoused servant leadership. His name's Mike Smith, still a mentor to this day. I consider him family. I met Mike sweeping up cigarette butts in the parking lot. And I thought he was a maintenance guy. I talked to him for a good 10, 15 minutes, went inside his one restaurant, Joe Cool's. If you know London, Ontario, you know Joe Cool's. And somebody inside was like, hey, do you know who that was? Like, no. Like, who was that? He's like, he owns everything. He owns all the restaurants and everything else. And to me, that struck such a chord that Mike led with servant leadership and was leading by example. And like nobody was watching him in the parking lot. And it's like, man, if that's who he is when nobody's watching, I wonder who he is as he operates the business and how he built his empire. So I spent a lot of time trying to get within those ecosystems and working really hard to just get around those people to see how they operate and did their business. How that translated into marketing and getting referrals and sphere of influence business was by having servant leadership. I looked at how he treated his customers. Now, this is the next step for hospitality. A lot of people will understand this, right? Like he had 2 restaurants that were like the busiest, lined up 7 days a week, hundreds of people wanting to get in, like down the street. People that I knew back then to this day, I still have phenomenal relationships with. And the way that we treated the people that actually got past the line and into the restaurant, it didn't matter if they were an NHL star, because there were tons of them, or somebody that just got off a job site. It was, how did those people treat the other people in the ecosystem? So it started off first with servant leadership. Then it started off with cultivating the right community and treating people that treated people well better than those who just tried to buy their way in. Case in point, somebody could walk up and say, hey, I'm going to grease your palms, Justin. I'm going to give you $150. I want to get in with me and 5 of my friends. Never once did that ever happen. Or if somebody came in, wanted free drinks or whatever, and then said, hey, I'm going to over tip you so that you always take care of me, I wouldn't take their money, because to me, that would be theft, right? If I'm taking care of you because you're lining my pockets, then that's going to be the ecosystem that I create for myself, right? If you pay me for something, you own me. And that's not the ecosystem we wanted to create. But when I saw an NHL star that was worth millions of dollars treating a server very, very nicely, they would always get treated with golden gloves and always get past the line. Or if I saw somebody that just got off a job site do the same thing, they get the exact same treatment. If I saw somebody being disrespectful to service staff or other people or acting better than, they didn't get the same service and they didn't get the same access as those people. Now, how that translates right into my business today is we treat our ecosystem and our referral sphere the exact same way. So the best way that you can actually generate business, referrals, and phone calls like I get on a daily basis is actually by giving, not waiting or expecting. If you're sitting there waiting for referrals or calling people asking for referrals, rarely is that actually going to happen. Mortgage brokers call me every single week. Hey, Justin, let me take you for coffee. I don't have time for coffee. My wife and daughter are more important to me than going for coffee with somebody that I don't know who's going to ask me for business, right? I will take a call and I'll tell them we operate very simply. If you trust me with your people and I trust you with my people and you treat my people better than anybody else would, you're going to get more of my people. The more of your people you send me, the more of my people I send you, and let's build bridges. Right? My people and my clients are the most important thing in the world to me. The people that work at my brokerage are my clients, right? The people that I am a fiduciary to, I need to look out for their interests above my own. Make a comparison now back to the hospitality industry. The amount of underhanded deals that go around in my industry with mortgage brokers greasing the palms of real estate agents so they just send them those deals. Does that agent actually care about the level of quality of that mortgage broker? Or is that mortgage broker ethical and giving that right product to that right client? Now, if you're the consumer watching this, like, man, I never thought about that, Justin. I just assumed that they were connecting you with the right people. But are they getting paid on the back end for that? Because in Canada, it's actually illegal to receive any payment in terms of a referral unless that referral is disclosed. Fun little fact about real estate: in the APS, the Agreement of Purchase and Sale, it actually stipulates in one of the standard clauses disclosure of referrals. If somebody gives you a gift card to the keg, if somebody gives you cash, if somebody takes you trips to Bora Bora, all that stuff has to be disclosed if you're building bridges and relationships between your clients and other people. One thing I can say, I've never actually taken a referral fee from any of my service providers. I've hooked up clients with kitchen people that did 6-figure jobs, and that person called me and said, hey, I got $2,500 for you. Amazing. Give it to my client. They're super confused because they're like, every other agent I give it to, they just take it as part of my marketing budget. I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. But this little clause here, when I explain it to my clients, I want to be able to tell them I've never taken a referral fee. And honestly, that client's bought 6 properties with me. I don't need that $2,500, but they could probably use it on the reno, or maybe they want to go away to Mexico or something. Just give it to them. And I can tell you story after story after story about how that actually changed my business in the long run. Maybe I lost a little money in the short run, but in the long run, it makes a big, big difference. And that comes directly from watching people like Mike and looking at Mike and saying, who do I want to be when nobody's watching? When it would be just as easy for me to take that $2,500, chalk it up and move on to the next one. But then think about how that changes the foundation of me building my business. If I'm only looking for people that are going to line my pockets to be my partners, short-term thinking. If I look for people that are building businesses like I want to build, I want to be the most trusted name in real estate. If I connect you with somebody, they're the best. When I connect you with somebody in Florida or Texas or the UK, Cayman Islands, Australia, anywhere across Canada, these are referrals. I've done all of those in the last couple months. I want you to feel like, yeah, I can trust Justin. He's going to vet this person. And if I send you to somebody and you're like, hey, Justin, like they're not super responsive, I'll deal with it right away. Look into it. Is that something that's wrong with their organization? No problem. I'll find you 2 or 3 other options. I'm not going to pretend that everybody's perfect and everybody can operate at the same caliber. But what you want is true partners that are going to build a referral business. Now, the other way, and this is a little bit more tactical, that you can actually build referral business and SOI business using, let's just say, Instagram. Here's a super hack for you, is going right into your actual Instagram. I may as well share my screen because I get a little bit crazy with my segments here. And I absolutely love photography. Here's a photo I took of the Grand Bend Beach. We sell Grand Bend like crazy. So if you'd like to buy lakefront property, hit me up. Let me go to Google Chrome here. I'll get to Twitter in a second. So if I go here and I go to my home, here's a very simple way for you to actually build relationships in SOI. Homework for you. Let me know if you're going to do this in the comments. If you click through these bubbles and you send DMs to all of these people, it's going to get you in their algorithms on a more regular basis. What's cool is all of these people I'm friends with, right? This is Antonio. He's in Portugal. If you actually wanted to buy property in Portugal, he's like a friend. I've spent hundreds of hours with him on Clubhouse. I actually trust him quite a bit. He knows Portugal better than anybody else. If I click on his profile, I can actually send him a message, just like a text message. I use Instagram to keep me in touch with the people that I want to be in touch with. It's a multi-billion-dollar company that does the work for me and reminds me, hey, you haven't talked to Antonio in a little bit. Maybe you should see what's up. Or I could just tap on his story, see what he's doing. If I got nothing to say, maybe I don't say anything, or maybe I do. But if I make that connection, he responds. Instagram's like, oh, these people like each other. They should see each other's content more. And guess what? When he gets real estate referrals in North America, who's he calling? He's calling Justin. Tannis is an amazing investment agent in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. We work with the SEAL team and Joe, and I've spoken at her events. Definitely somebody I keep in touch with. Mo is a past client. Betty works with me. We're actually listing a property next week together. Amazing agent in West Lauren. Meet Miranda has one of the best TikTok channels ever. Architecture, GTA area. I met her through the Sirhan group, and she's like a friend. She's been on the Prime People podcast. If you want to learn how to actually do her TikToks the way she does, you can listen to my podcast where I interviewed her. But I'm just giving you an actual way of how I build SOI and referral business. And this is a really easy way to do this. Kellen's a great investor. And then Ian McAlpine's one of the best videographers on the planet. I just wanted to give you an actual tactical takeaway from today's episode to make it really, really easy for you. Now, that'll actually translate nicely to the next strategy. So let's build your sphere of influence. Let's build your pipelines, build your partnerships. Make that a big part of what you're doing in 2023, because if you build them, they will come, and it will be paramount for your business over time to build great referral pipelines. Second way is content marketing. People get absolutely overwhelmed with content marketing. You really don't have to. So here's how now I'm going to take a very focused goal. Let's say Justin wants to be known for commercial real estate, right? I started in commercial real estate. That was my background. First building I ever sold was an office building with 55% vacancy. My wife, MBA from Ivy and super intelligent girl, did the analysis on it. All the old school commercial brokers were poo-pooing us. They were super upset. We got this big office building for sale. We were rookies. You don't share that. They, like, guys in my own office sent us emails like tearing us down that we were overvaluated on the building. We'd never get the deal done. Suffice it to say, my wife, if you tell her she can't do something, she's going to do it, right? Like, don't tell Shannon, you can't do this. You are going to light a fire under her. So she built the most amazing pro forma I've ever seen. And we realized in commercial real estate, when you're acquiring a building, the banks actually care more about the building than you. So fun little fact about real estate. If you go to get a residential mortgage, they're not in the lending business. They're in the risk business. So they're going to look at you and assume you're going to default on the property. And they're going to look at what's my loan to value based on your credit. And, you know, what can I lend on this building that if you default, it's a no-brainer. They can resell that building and still make money. That's the actual business they're in. Commercial real estate, they look at how many people are in the office building, you know, how occupied is it, what are the rental rates, and they value it on a cap rate. So income minus expenses divided by purchase price gives you a number. That's a cap rate, and that's how they value buildings. And that cap rate can be 4 to like 9%. Our market's hovering around, let's call it like 4.5 to 5 right now. This building back then, with a 55% vacancy, was like virtually unfinanceable. My seller wanted $1 million for the building. The cap rate analysis on it was worth like $650. What we did was we actually sold the building for $850,000. But how did you do that, Justin? We actually did a $750,000 vendor take back mortgage, meaning the seller acted as the bank. So Olivier Maurice came in and bought the building. And he basically was $100,000 cash down to own this building that was $850,000. So he was able to, he overpaid a little bit for the building, but he got really good financing where he didn't have to go to a regular bank. So there was a benefit to him of saying, yeah, sure, I'll buy it at $850. I'll work really hard, get the vacancies up, get the building filled. Now the building value is going to be over $1 million. Here's the rub. My client that did the deal at $850 took a 5% on that $100,000 a year and basically was getting money put in his pocket every year through the VTB. So over 5 years, he ended up with over $1 million because the buyer actually renewed the VTB. So he ended up doing 10 years of vendor financing. My client got over $1 million. The buyer got a deal that he never would have been able to get otherwise. We got super creative and we crushed that deal. Now, what am I doing by telling you that story? Content marketing. I just did it in front of you. I gave you a story on how I did something that nobody else could do and how we brought value to a transaction when all the old school commercial agents were poo-pooing us and would have told you your building is worth $650,000. So if I could put $200K back in your pocket, would you want to hire me or the agent that's been around for 25 years that does it the old school way that's not as creative and you leave $200K on the table? Totally up to you. Here's how I actually translate that into content. Share my screen again because this is how I like to do it. I'm going to go to this Instagram account, which is the brokerage Instagram account, not mine. This is like the general one, not as big as my account, and typically company accounts aren't, but you'll see that there's consistently residential, commercial, and investment properties that we showcase in the different areas that we cover. We do a lot of land development and farms, so we just make sure to be very consistent. I also profile partnerships with Scott McGilvery. There's Betty, the girl I just showed you on Instagram, and other agents that work with us and work on my team. Amazing, amazing people. So this is kind of this channel. On my channel here, let me go to my profile really quick. And I'll go down a little bit and pull up the, here you go. I got a hard hat on. So here I'm walking a commercial site. So this is content marketing. I literally was doing a live stream while we were doing a video shoot because I know my audience is people that are in our local market. I was profiling Orange Rock's development site. We actually leased out the front portion to the Singing Chef. We did a massive lease in the office building. We have one retail unit left. We're really big on content marketing around commercial sites because nobody else in the commercial real estate industry is really doing it. Usually they just show up with their own camera, take a little photo, put it on MLS and wait for the tenants. We are very, very active. So we want to make sure that we showcase this to people. But putting out content's one thing. The more powerful thing that we actually do, and this has been a newer thing for me over the last year, is I cleaned up my Twitter. So I actually had tons of people I was following that were not in the real estate industry. I had people, I like UFC, I like F1, I like fly fishing, all these different things. I used an app called Tweepi, Tweepi, to clean out the people that I was following. And I only had, I think, 300 followers in spring of this year. And then all I do now is make sure that I follow people that are in the segments that I want to follow. Fun fact, Twitter and LinkedIn are phenomenal for commercial real estate. So what am I doing now? Making sure to build bridges towards commercial real estate using my Twitter. Here's a tweet that I posted yesterday. And these are like longtime friends, right? Beth Azor, I've known for years. She's been in the Prime office, taught our entire commercial team a whole bunch of stuff. Carrie Bob, straight killer. She's been on the podcast. Shlomo, good friend. Met him through Clubhouse, spent lots of time with him online. Kyle and Sierra became a friend through Jay Ciano. Bucky Beeman, I've known for close to a decade. CRE Roman's newer account that I just started following, but puts out amazing commercial real estate content, the CREI Summit. I see you, Roger Horvath, in the live stream. I actually want to go to this summit in September. And then Natalie, somebody I don't know in commercial real estate, but has amazing content. So what did I do? Content marketing. I put them in a tweet and I told my followers to follow these people. And I got a ton of responses and thankfulness because I'm trusting these people with my audience. So if you want to build bridges, this is a really, really good way to do it. And then the next level piece is we do a lot of production work. So I said we own a production company. If you want to learn how I actually come up with ideas, shoot content, distribute it, there are other videos on this channel. Just hit the subscribe and notification button if you want to go back and watch those. But we use stunning visuals. We use education and entertainment to get people engaged in a way that nobody's doing it in commercial real estate. I think our commercial real estate partners value that, and that's why they hire us. But what's really cool is as we do more of this and it trickles out into the community, we don't have a massive channel. I got 3,000 subscribers. This has had 12,000 views locally. So we layer this with other things that we do content marketing wise to make sure that we are always top of mind, and it is a digital billboard. Last piece I'm going to show you, our newsletter is one of the most powerful ways that we generate business. I'm not going to make you look at the entire newsletter. You can sub for it if you want, but I'm going to go down to the commercial section. So we separate all of our listings, our luxury properties. We have amazing luxury properties. Here's our residential investment. And then if I go to commercial, you'll see the different projects that we have. So I'm not expecting consumers to follow everything and anything that we do, but I'm trying to remove friction to make it easy for them to find me the way that they want to find me. If it's audio podcasts and they're in the business space and they're entrepreneurs in London, Ontario, surrounding area, anywhere across North America, they want to learn how to build businesses. I do that on this channel. If there's somebody that's looking for real estate, residential, commercial, investment, luxury, they can go to the Prime channels or the Prime YouTube channel. Like, I've created clarity around who I'm talking to on the mediums that I'm talking to. But please, 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 please do not lose the humanity and being your real self on these platforms. Because as much as I'm putting out these static posts that are structured and make it easy for people to find the content and be strategic in terms of, okay, I'm putting out these types of content into the ecosphere, the biggest way that I build my business using content marketing is the stuff you don't see. It's the DMs. It's engaging on other people's posts. The biggest hack to building community online is putting pennies in other people's wells. At the very beginning, I said, you get by giving. The more you give, the more you will get. I promise you that is the long game versus just counting your pennies and counting your money and counting other people's money. You're never going to build bridges that way. And guess what? Nobody's going to be there for you when the music shuts off. The very last way, now that I actually convert all of that to sales that end up in our transaction coordination software, I pick up the phone. Literally, it's not rocket science. I also don't overthink it. So tell me this, in your business, if you've ever seen a phone call come in for a number you didn't recognize, percentage in the comments, how many times do you actually pick up the phone? 10, 15, 25, 40, 60, 80? Not 100, because I don't pick it up 100% of the time. But I can tell you the single biggest mistake people make in the real estate industry is they're scared to pick up the phone because they dequalify themselves. It is pervasive. They feel like, oh, I don't have the information to give the client, so I'm just going to wait, get the information, then I'll call them back. And then they never call them back. I just answer the phone, try to find out what the person's looking for. I may not have all the answers, but I'm responsive. And then I have a system where I put that person and a way to follow up with them. That is literally the answer. And it doesn't matter if you want to become a speaker, if you own a coffee shop, custom sneaker shop, you're trying to build a coaching business, or you're in real estate. If you truly, truly, truly want to build bridges, make sure that after all that work that you put in to build those pipelines and build those bridges, that when somebody walks across them, you walk up to them and you shake their hand or pick up the phone and connect. Because for all of the greatest marketing on the face of the earth, if when they show up, you don't deliver, you lose their trust. If you do deliver, you are responsive and you're great at following up and following back, then they will know you're dependable. And then the cycle begins again. You get the referral, which allows you to put out the content, which makes the phone ring, which puts money in your pocket. So I'll go to the community now and just see the people that were here. Olivier Maurice, good morning. Yes, the secret is consistency. I see you, Malcolm O'Brien. Dora Marie, let's go. You guys are killing it on Clubhouse these days. I appreciate you. Kim Farr, I see Ramon Ray, and I see Olivier Maurice. I actually never ask for a referral fee when I send a client over, but I ask the best service that you've ever given. I know I'm leaving money on the table, but I consider it paying forward. So here, I'll actually challenge you with one thing. When I send clients to other agents, we actually want referral fees going both ways. I actually want to be tied to the transaction. So I'll pay referral fees. Like if you sent me somebody, Olivier, I would force you to take a referral from me. But here's the key: disclose that to the client, because I want them to know that I invested in the transaction and I'm going to track it and be involved, because they're calling me for my expertise. So a lot of times I end up collaborating with the agents that I do referrals with, and it's work. So you get paid for the work that you do. And I think that's a really good way to think about it. Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate your words. Dream, plan, start, grow. Always good information. Thank you. A little bit of encouragement goes a long way. I never know if any of this is valuable, so that means a lot to me. Billy Thompson, creative financing is key. Roger Horvath, Golden Nuggets. He's on my commercial team. He's also one of the highest classified helicopter pilots in all of Canada and does amazing work for Orange. So we appreciate you, Roger, and what you do. And business cycles. Oh, yeah, 100%. And I appreciate all of you for being here. I got to head back to Clubhouse. This segment is over. If you want more in-depth information on anything I discussed or videos, just please jump in the comments. Let me know. That's how I actually come up with the ideas. They're all community driven. If you want to connect with me, go to justinkonikow.com/resources. If I do take down this live stream because I overshared, I'll actually repost the secret links in my newsletter. So again, that is justinkonikow.com/resources. I am the worst at this. And I'll actually share it, resources, so that you can actually find the page, because I'm not great at doing the whole funnel thing. But fun fact, I actually don't sell anything. I don't coach. I don't want to. I don't do small groups. You can't buy me. I am not for sale. But because people ask me for follow-ups on a lot of this stuff, this is where I put it. So go to justinkonikow.com/resources, and I will see you on next week's live stream. Thanks for joining this one.